Yeah, I was definitely thinking about Tyrese the whole time. Not the whole time, but like, because in terms of like, I was like, maybe I'm being too hard on Tyrese. Maybe this is just how albums go. But I was like, nah, people actually like go through things and then make an album. They don't just make an album, you know?
Hi, I'm Danielle.
And I'm Del.
And this is the Black Catch-Up, where we're catching up on iconic Black media we missed out on in our more conservative religious childhood.
Alright, so this week we listened to
SWV.
It's about time.
It's about time.
Okay, yeah, it's about time.
Yeah. So this is the debut studio album by female R&B trio SWV. It was released on October 27th, 1992. And it was certified triple platinum.
Alright.
Nice.
Cool. So, I guess as usual, kind of start off with things we liked about the album.
Oh, and SWV stands for Sisters with Voices.
Yeah.
If you're curious.
Yeah, they're not actually sisters though, which is a little disappointing to me, but you know, I still get it, you know.
I thought it was gonna be another TLC thing where it was just their initials, and I was like, okay. But no, it's Sisters with Voices, so I kind of like that.
I will say, like, I'm glad they stuck with it, but like that had to be a working title at some point. Like, they're just like, all right, we're Sisters with Voices. What should we call ourselves?
Our voices are nice.
Yeah, and then SWV.
Yep.
I like it abbreviated though. I will say that I do like the abbreviation. But all right, so things we liked about it.
Yes.
You want to kick it off?
I'll kick it off. I will say I liked the diversity of the album and just the different kinds of sounds we got. Mm-hmm. We got more ballads. We got more kind of hip-hoppy tracks. We got a lot of different sounds, which is very different for what we listen to on this show. Mm-hmm. A lot of times I feel as though our critique is like, and the album sounded the same. Like, no, this couldn't have sounded further from the same. At least to me. It was very diverse and had a lot, and I feel as though it took a lot from like other types of music. Like there were some pieces that sounded gave me Salt and Pepper vibes, and another one gave me a bit of like Rump Shaker vibes. So I liked the diversity of the sound.
Okay. Yeah, I guess on a similar note, I kind of just like how they all three of them like played off of each other. I just thought they sounded good when they did harmonies, and when they chose to branch off to their own solos, they sounded good. And then they're kind of like vocal riffing in the background to kind of support each other. So yeah, I just thought they sounded like really good together. Yeah. You know?
I also had that. I just thought their vocals were really amazing. I'm going to get into some of my favorite songs. Downtown just had a really cool vibe for me.
Yeah.
And it also had like whistle notes, or at least very high notes that I felt sprinkled in there. And I was like, oh, okay. It was very, very nice. I also really liked Black Puddin'. That was the one that gave me Salt and Pepper vibes a lot, and a bit Rump Shaker. Yeah. So I was like, oh, and it was kind of like just a unique track, just in the middle of all of it. So I really liked that one. And also Give It To Me and Think You're Gonna Like It. I don't have any specific notes about those, but I just liked those.
Okay, yeah. Getting into things I liked, I thought this one had a lot of bangers. Like, there's just a lot of really good tracks. So I had, I'm Going Into You, or I'm So Into You. I had Weak, You're Always On My Mind, Downtown. What does this last one say? I'm not sure what this last one, I already said Give It To Me, yeah, but, Come Home, like, I just thought this one had, like, a lot of just great songs. Yeah, and like really you said, like, they all just sounded, like, different. Like, you just got so many different flavors, you know? Yeah. But, yeah, no, I really enjoyed that aspect of it.
I really liked it, too.
Alright.
That's all I have for favorites.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I had. I wrote down that, like, the whole thing just sounded really smooth to me. Like, their singing was just very smooth, but...
Yeah, their voices were...
Yeah, like, their voices were just very, like, just pleasant to listen to, you know? Yeah. But okay, we can get into negatives now.
Negatives.
You want to start this one off, or?
I'll start it off. I didn't need the end of the album, and I mean very end, where it was just, like, radio edits and, like, a cappella and remixes.
Okay.
Just as a personal preference, I would prefer those things on a separate album. So if I want to, I can listen to it, and if I don't want to, it's not like in the album. Just for me personally, okay. I don't like it.
Same. I didn't write it down though because I just skipped them. I just kind of stopped once because I think SWV in the house that's like, then they do weak acapella. That's where I tapped out of the album. And like,
the first time I listened to it, and I was like, did I accidentally listen to the deluxe version?
Yeah.
But then I looked and I did it, and I was like, oh, I don't want this.
Yeah, no, anytime, and like that, I guess that was a thing in like the 90s to like, put those like remix versions on the same album, but yeah, I kind of skipped those. I didn't.
Yeah.
I think I listened to them once, like the first way through.
I listened to him my first listen.
Yeah, then I kind of.
But then afterwards, I was like, this, I don't.
I want to say the 15th one wasn't on the original release.
Yeah, it wasn't.
I think that was like an extra.
It was the remix later. With Human Nature and right there.
Yeah.
It was good, but like, I'm not a remix person on the album that I'm listening to. I kind of just want like the album that I listen to be what you wanted it to be. Maybe later you have a different album of remixes of your songs or something like that, but just not in the same album, at least not for me.
Okay. Yeah, so, like, again, I didn't write that part down, because I just kind of skipped it, but, the only really thing I had, and it was interesting you mentioned it, Black Puddin', I didn't think that was a bad song. I thought it just felt really out of place on this album.
Oh, it did, but I still liked it.
Yeah, no, I thought it was okay. Like, to be honest, I could have done without it on this album, but, you know, I did definitely get the salt and pepper vibes, and, like, it was a good song. It just, to me, it just felt weird on this album. Yeah. You know, but,
that's probably why it sounded so diverse. You had, like, a whole separate song.
Yeah.
Like, just in there, in the middle.
Yeah, but, that was honestly, like, the only really thing I had, like...
Okay, I have one more thing.
Okay.
That's, like... Again, nitpicky. And while we normally say full albums are too long, I'm going to say some of these songs were too long and a little repetitive.
I could see
that,
yeah. So,
like, Downtown, as much as I liked it, and I really liked the vibe of it, once it got towards, like, the 3-minute mark, we were just repeating. There must have been like 10 choruses, it seemed. Yeah. And I was like, how am I still listening? Did this accidentally
that was the 5-minute song in the minute. There was a cut, because there was 2 back-to-back 5-minute songs.
Yeah. And I was like, did I accidentally repeat something? Like, did I accidentally repeat the song? Because I do that sometimes. Just listen to one song forever. But I was like, I didn't do it this time. Why is this song so long? Yeah. So that was just my other thing.
Okay. But yeah. Time for ratings?
Yes. You can go first.
Alright, so, for me, I gave this one a 4. Like, I think what really did it for me is, like, there were just a lot of great songs. Like, the highlights of this album were just very high to me. And the lowlights weren't really that low, and there weren't that many. You know, so, like, I'm like, what more do I need for an album? Yeah. You know, so, like, it gets a 4. Like, I just thought it was really good. Like, they sound good, they sing good, and they made great songs. So, yeah, it got a 4 for me.
I also really liked it. I gave it a 3.5. The only knockdown for me is that I wouldn't listen to this album as an album again. Just because, while it's very diverse, that's not how I listen to music. I want one kind of like through vibe that I'm listening to the entire time.
Yeah.
So that was my only ding. But other than that, the songs were all like really good and and their voices were so good. Sisters with voices, yes, please.
They have voices.
They have voices. And it does make me want to check out some of their newer work. Because I feel as though while this album was, like, very diverse, it kind of was a little, because this is their first album, it was a little, like, maybe they're still trying to find their sound and, like, the kind of music that they are going to, like, continue to do and excel at. So it makes me want to, like, hear some of their newer work or, like, after work to see if they kind of found their sound so the album isn't as... not jumbled, but diverse. Yeah, I guess. Okay. If they're going to stick to just one sound.
Okay, yeah. Kind of like that experimental first album where you kind of try things.
Where you're trying... And I like that they tried a lot of things. This makes it sound like I don't like that. I love that they tried so many different things. But I kind of wanted a little bit more, like, funneling just a little bit more. Yeah,
okay. It's interesting you say that, because getting into final question where we'd play this album... Okay. So, while yes, like, I think musically it was very diverse, subject matter, I thought it was, like, very concise.
Oh, yeah.
In that, like, realm of, like, love, you know? Yeah. So, when it came to where I'd play this, I had 2 very specific scenarios, not very specific, but 2 scenarios that kind of had that similar vibe to them, being that you're very in love with a person. Yes. Or just very, like, infatuated with that person, like, just very happy with them, you know? Yeah. And so, of course, you get the relationship that kind of... I guess that's kind of a default, but I'm thinking either, like, you go on your first date Friday, and then you plan the second date Saturday because you had such a good time. So you listen to it Saturday, you're excited, you're just really cheery, in love with this person.
Okay.
Or you play it at your wedding because then you know you love the person.
That's
You know what I'm saying? Like, you know you're in love at your wedding day. Or
That's
you know, at the reception. So
I like that.
Either one of those times is probably when I'm playing this.
I did a different one. I said this would be perfect for a girls' night in when when someone has a new relationship. Like, you're very excited. You're like, I just went on this date and I think this person's the one, kind of similar to you.
Yeah,
so you like get all your girlfriends together and you're just like listening to this album. You're like talking, there's some wine, there's popcorn, pizza, just like a whole girls' night in to talk about relationships specifically. The good ones, not the bad. Yeah, that's a different album.
Good ones, yeah. And I think the good ones is the part that you needed for this album, which is why I'm like, all right, very beginning or like marriage day, you know? Might be the two best parts.
Because there wasn't any, and I think this is not rare, but like in the ones that we've done in the albums we've done so far, there's always a lot of like, we just did Tyrese.
No,
Tyrese
and I was thinking, I was definitely thinking that he was all over the place. Like, he couldn't tell you was sad and love and happy, but this one I was like, all right, they're in love and I'm in love too. You know?
They were like happy. There wasn't any like sad, like, oh, he broke up with me, or like, oh, he broke my heart. It was all pretty good. So like, if you have a new relationship or like just you want to like sit down and everyone's talking about relationships with their partners and they're going well, this is a good album. Just like have it and you're like, oh, he makes me feel like this, and you're just. Yeah.
All right. Yeah.
I like it.
That's the last question, right?
That's the last question.
All right. So that was SWV. It's about time.
Yes.
YouTube housekeeping. Like, comment, subscribe.
Ring the bell for notifications. If you have any suggestions for us, you can leave them in the comments down below. We do music and TV on Sundays, and on Tuesdays and Fridays we do movies. I don't know why I almost forgot what it was.
I never mess up. You see the difference here?
All of our socials will be linked in the description down below, and we'll see you next time to catch up. Bye.
I broke my streak of wearing headbands for music reviews, but I'm wearing a hat, so I feel like it's still like there's still headgear. So
next time you should just wear headphones, just like
headphones for the music. I like it. I might have to.